Morning, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Morning.
Got to bring bits of paper now with me, understand?
Well, it doesn't look, Steve, you've got your bit of paper, but it doesn't look as long as...
No, it's not. We've still got a few, but we've got a few coming back, which is good. Particularly Alan. I think that's good news for everybody. St Maxim's trained for the past 2 weeks, so we hope that he's going to be okay. And yeah, we've got 1 or 2 back.
When you say okay for Alan, do you mean for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the lads who came back the other night, I guess everything...
All okay. Yeah, all okay.
Big players as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been down to the bare bones. We know we've had something like 12, 13 people injured all at once out of a squad of 25, and you've got 3 goalkeepers. Tells you that you're in a little bit of trouble. So we've had to rely on a couple of the younger players from the academy, but as I said, in a couple of weeks we hope that everybody's okay. And at the moment, we've got a few back, which is good to have.
Are you able to tell us which ones are actually out?
Mankilo, Colback, Key, Gale, Dummett, Yedlin, Mutu, and we'll just have to wait on Andy Carroll.
So that's quite short. You're listening.
I said it quick. I rattled it off. Still 8 there, I think. I believe.
Yeah. Fabian Schär?
Fabian Schär's okay.
Okay. And I think you said on Monday that both Paul Dummett and Dwight Gale would have scans. How are they?
Not great. Not great. Dummies looks a particularly nasty one, which and Dwight we think is a normal bog standard one, where between 4 weeks and 6 weeks. So not great news, I'm afraid.
So in terms of Dummett, are you looking at months? I
think he's going to have a second opinion on his, and we'll see from there.
Okay. Just last one on injuries. I think you said a couple of weeks ago, and I suppose it was difficult for you because we were asking about all these players, and we kept stressing a lot of them are kind of soft tissue. They could be back 2-3 weeks. You've been patient, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's 1 or 2 serious ones, of course, which unfortunately I think every club it happens to. A lot of ours were strains and muscle injuries, soft tissue, if you want to call them. And we knew they weren't that severe. They were a sign of, obviously, a bit of fatigue in some of them, but yeah, always was the back of our mind that everybody was going to be okay in 2-3 weeks. So we said, can we get through the next couple of weeks? Obviously, we've got another 2 big games in that period of time. So it's good to see a few of them back, though.
You told us about the planned meeting with Mike Ashley this week, Monday. How did it go, Steve? Yeah,
it went very well. I mean, we just reiterated what I've been saying to you guys, and we showed what we're trying to do, and he was fully supportive of that. As I said, we've got 1 or 2 plates spinning, and we hope that we can add to the squad by the end of the month. What I've said from the start is, we've got 1 or 2 targets in mind. If they don't come off, then I'm not just going to jump into the window just for the sake of it. They have to try and improve us if we're going to act.
You say that he's been fully supportive since you arrived. Do you expect him to be fully supportive this month in terms of funds, or are you still looking in the loan market?
Yeah. There's funds available if we need it. So, but that's always been the case. I think what he was interested on is who we're looking at and which areas we're looking at to strengthen and what type of player, and he took a genuine interest in all of that. So yeah, it was a very, very good meeting.
So have you kind of been given sort of carte blanche yourself, if you like, to go and go for this certain targets and say this is what I want?
Well, we've had 1 or 2 in mind.
Yeah.
We've had 1 or 2 in mind, and we'll see if we can pull them off. Obviously, when you're going for big players, there's a bit of competition along the line somewhere. So we hope that we can pull them off. We're trying everything we possibly can.
Can you understand why some supporters might be saying, well, why are you meeting now with just 2 weeks in the window? Why wasn't it in November or December?
Look, our plans have been in place of who we're trying to get since last September. Really, we've been September, October, November. We've been planning of what we're doing. He was just arriving to come to the game to have a look at the stuff that we are doing. So, it wasn't the case that we haven't been doing our jobs because he only arrived halfway through January. I speak to Lee and Steve Nixon every day, and we are the ones who drive it. And then, of course, when we identify the ones that we want or we think we can get, then, of course, Lee asks the question.
Of course, a fine win the other night. Joe Linton finally scores after a drought. You've got injured players coming back off the bench. Things looking good. Is there any concern for you that you might look at that and say,
No. I think he's been fully supportive of the idea of trying to improve the squad, and I think that's my remit since I walked through the door. How can I take the club forward? And I think it's my way, and he agrees with it, that we buy quality, not quantity. And that's got to be the mantra. If we're going to improve, and we've got a very, very decent squad now, then if we're going to improve, then we've got to bring that bit of quality, what makes us better, and that's what we're trying to do.
Last one for me in transfers, if you don't mind, and I think it's link number 47.
I think it's more than that, but there you go. He's entitled to get one right.
There's some quite big reports overnight in Italy that there's some interest in Inter winger Valentino Lazaro. Anything in that?
Well, I think I said it last week too. I think it would be wrong for me to talk about individuals. We have been linked with about 58 players, and he's the latest one. I don't really want to comment on that just yet. Thanks.
Steve, just on Joe Linton, obviously, as Keith mentioned, a great night for him and the team on Tuesday. Have you noticed a change in his general demeanour since then in training?
Well, I think I said the other night, if you compare the first 5 minutes to the last 5 minutes, you could see that little bit of weight just taken off his shoulders a bit. And that's certainly been the case in training. We're all delighted for him. He's had a tough time. So hopefully, a bit like Almiron, when everybody kept asking me the question, when is he going to score? Hopefully the same thing will happen with Joe. We know he's got a lot of qualities. He's still a young lad and still learning. But he'll have learned from how difficult it is, the Premier League for a start. And let's hope now he can get that little bit of confidence, which is why we played him in both cup ties, to see if he can get a goal. He nearly got 2 or 3 down at Rochdale, and thankfully the other night in the last 5 minutes he's managed to score, so let's hope it does him the world of good.
Yeah, we spoke to Jetro Williams and DeAndre Yedlin in the week, and they were both so clearly delighted. I think Williams said that he personally celebrated like Newcastle had won the league. He was so happy.
Well, I think if you see the celebrations, Jamal's off the bench too, delighted from. We're all are. Look, it's not easy to come here and wear the famous number 9 shirt of Newcastle United is a tough act, considering some of the great players we've had over the years. So, but he'll learn from it. As I said, he's only young, and let's hope we can get him a bit better.
And looking ahead to the game at the weekend, what have you made of the job that Frank Lampard's been doing with Chelsea?
Oh, well, look, I've said many times I worried about his generation because none of them were really going into the coaching and that side of it. I think Frank has turned that around, but with Steven Gerrard involved too, and John Terry assistant at Villa. I'm delighted of how well he's done. He's been given a marvellous opportunity. He's gone and stamped his authority on it straight away and played a more open, if you like. Introduced the young players, whether that was because he had to or whatever. You only have to ask Frank, but I'm a big admirer of Frank. He's a great lad, and he's doing very, very well. Can't be easy, after just a year of management to manage Chelsea, but he's doing extremely well. And make no mistake, as always, Chelsea have got some excellent players, so we'll have to be at our best.
And someone else who's doing really well for them this season is Tammy Abraham. Obviously, you worked with him last season at Aston Villa. Did you expect him to do so well in the Premier League?
Oh yeah, I think he's a goal scorer, a natural goal scorer, and he's got all the attributes. Unfortunately, I didn't work with him very, very long for obvious reasons, but you could just tell in his whole demeanour that all he's interested really is that scoring a goal. He's got that instinct, and he's beat off big competition and made the number 9 his own. So well done to him. I'm delighted for him because he's gone to work. It didn't go so well for him at Swansea, and some people doubted him, but he's turned into a top player.
And Chelsea have been quite inconsistent, it's fair to say, over the last couple of months. Does that give you
I think when you've got a lot of younger players in your team, the one thing they do is they go up and down a little bit. It's normal of a young player until they get themselves and find that consistency. So it's quite normal. I hope they have one of them ones tomorrow. It's not very often, I don't think, but they're a very, very good side. So we'll have to be at our best if we're going to try and get anything.
Great.
Thank you.
Steve, is it a particular disappointment with Dwight Gale? He was starting to develop a little bit of an understanding with Almiron and could have offered you that extra option for the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a huge disappointment, the whole thing with Dwight, unfortunately. From the day I came in, he was injured in pre-season, didn't really recover for a good 2-3 months with a calf, and then because the team was doing quite well, he spent a lot of time on the bench, and when he's been given his opportunity, he's reminded what a good player he is. I thought he was excellent in the first half hour against Wolves the other night. Made us the goal. Made a goal down at Old Trafford. So it is a bit of a blow, but it's what it is.
Talked a little bit about Chelsea, and for a game like that, do you sort of draw on the performance that you produced against Man City in a way of sort of? We did
very well down at Chelsea too, and lost by the odd goal. The one thing about playing against the big teams is you hope that you've got to play to your maximum and still cause them a threat the other way. So with Alan back maybe, then we know we've got a bit that hopefully can hurt them a little bit. But certainly we're going to have to defend well, and that's always the case when you play against the big teams.
And when you talk about somebody like Sam Maximin, that sort of pace can frighten any team, can't it?
Well, he's got that, absolute pace. He's got that raw pace and power and that natural ability to go past somebody. So he is one where he can, in a flash, turn a game for you. And we've seen it many times with him. When he's been in the team, the result speaks for themselves. So we've missed him over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, wherever it is. But then again, even the big teams miss their best players. And so it's good to see him back.
And we've seen what's happened with Traore at Wolves. He's sort of combined now, not just the pace, but there's a bit of end product as well, if you can get those two together.
Well, he's only young. Traore's only young, and you can see him developing, of course. And the same will go for Alan too. He's an exciting young talent, and he's got that end product as always the thing that you hope can improve very, very quickly. And by the way he does in training every day, he's making big strides.
You've talked about spinning plates. Do you think this one might go down to the wire in terms of who's available?
There's lots available, but of the right quality, maybe not. So we've been patient all along. We've identified the one or two that we're trying to get in, and that hasn't changed. So let's hope we can take a little few steps closer and hope that we can get one or two over the line.
And you talked about funds being available, but if you bought somebody in, is it still possible we might see one or two outgoings just to try and...
Well, I think I've got to let one or two out because I've got to make way in the squad. You've got to, by the end of January, make your squad again. So unfortunately, one or two, if we bring one or two in, one or two will have to make way. So that's what it is, unfortunately. So that's what will happen.
Just going back to Dwight Gale, finally from me, it was spoken about, however, well he played in the last couple of games, that he might have been one of those to go out on loan. Presumably that would be the knock-on head anyway.
I don't know how many times I've said this, but Dwight Gale is not going to go anywhere. I mean, he's injured now anyway, but I think must have repeated that 25 times, but the rumours keep circulating that I'm going to let him go on loan to Notts Forest or this one. It's nonsense. It's rubbish. And I've said it 25 times now. Dwight Gale go nowhere.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.